Welcome to Washed Up Podcast. You ain't what you used to be, but you in position to be who you destined to be. To get close and personal, thank you for blessing us with your time. To be tuned into our time, so we can be a constant beat in your mind. Washed Up. What relationship challenges are you willing to accept and deal with while you in a relationship?
Wow. I'm willing to deal with somebody not knowing how to work as a partner. And what I mean is they maybe never had to, in their previous relationships. So they don't know exactly how to maneuver as far as finding out exactly or getting comfortable in a role in a partnership. Like if you've built something by yourself, and I could probably even throw myself in there, like if you built something by yourself and then you include somebody into that, sometimes I think it's hard for them to try to kind of feel comfortable. If they built something on their own too, and then you got to do it with somebody, like, hey, you might have to wait until this person is, ready to do this, or you might have to wait until they comfortable enough with the right money. It ain't got to be the money, but I'll just say some people don't know how to communicate that they need time. They don't know how to communicate that they need help because they've been so used to figuring out stuff on their own. So they may feel like it's hard to go to their partner and say, hey, because, sometimes like seeing somebody so strong, it kind of intimidates somebody that is not that strong sometimes. So they kind of, man, if I go to him or if I go to her and tell her that I ain't got it or I can't figure this out, they're going to look at me different. So I'm willing to accept a person not being comfortable being uncomfortable, if that makes sense. They don't work well in an uncomfortable environment, should I say. So I think that's one thing that I think I could probably handle, like off my head, because I know it may be hard for some people because it's hard for me. You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to think about working with somebody else because I work on my own pace. I like to just make stuff happen without really planning it out. You know what I'm saying? I know maybe dealing with somebody like me or dealing with somebody like that can be challenging because they feel like they know what's best. You see what I'm saying? So like, and if I gotta generalize it, I just say the challenge would be understanding that I know they can handle it, but I want them to come to me. Like I still feel like, hey, I might not make all the right decisions, but I'm pretty much gonna point you in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So I would say that's a challenge for me, just for them being not being used to being uncomfortable.
What factors contribute to your willingness to tolerate certain aspects of your partner that you may not dislike?
That's a deep one there, man.
That from what you said, you feel like you want your partner to be able to come to you if they have a deficiency or whatnot. You want them to understand that you understand. You can look over what it is they may lack in. Like what skill that you can see that provides you to have that ability to look through that.
Okay.
Yeah. To look through what, may be considered as a flaw or weakness that this person possess, but is driven behind that for you to be encouraged enough to lead and be understanding in that situation.
I would say, I think it's something in me, maybe the leader or the leader qualities in me, and maybe even that I understand that everybody isn't fully equipped the way that I might be. And that alone, I wouldn't necessarily say if I would look at it as a weakness, but if I feel like the person has so many more pros than they do cons of being with them, like if that's like one of the major factors that I have to deal with, and that's probably I'm gonna say one of the only ones, but I'll just say if that's not one, if that's the major one, then I would say I'm really weighing it out, like saying, hey, this person offers so much more that this one thing right here that's a challenge, I'm willing to deal with this because of all those other strong attributes that this person has. You know what I'm saying? Maybe she communicates well in other areas. Maybe she's on point when it comes to intellectual conversations. It's a lot more pros in her that stand out more than that weakness do. So I think me understanding that, like, just really having to be able to say, you know what, let me look at this person and say, okay, I love so much more in you than I dislike about you. You know what I'm saying? So that right there will just have me like, okay, well, I'm sure it's something about myself that this person probably sees the same way. And I would hope that they would look through that weakness and see all the good, you know what I mean, too. And say, hey, this is the same reason why I stick around with you, because you got so much more to offer than you do that one little, that one, I'm gonna say little, but that one challenge that they may have to deal with me. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's not a deal breaker. So if it's not a deal breaker and it's something that I think this person can work on, then I'll say that'll decide. That's a factor for me. Like just the fact of them being so much more than maybe they weakness. I see through that. So if that makes sense anyway for y'all.
Real, yeah. Dirt did, what relationship challenges can you live with?
None.
Hey, that's real too though.
That
Because I'm sitting here thinking,
be on point, dude.
Hey,
we coming to you, Hoppo. We coming to you now.
Man, look here.
Say it again to you. What challenges?
What relationship challenges can you live with?
I guess knowing when to walk away, and I don't mean like walk away from the relationship entirely, but just walking away from a disagreement, walking away from an argument, like even if I know I'm right, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it could be pointless if it ain't something that's like affecting, our finances, our kids in overall household. To me, I'm the type I can just be like, you know what, you got it. And it don't bother me. Like it like, cause I know and the reason why I say that, cause I know with most men, they have an ego thing where they want to go back and forth, and I just don't feel like if it's not that important, I don't have I'm not finna keep. I'm not gonna get flustered.
I'm one of those that's in the works, trying to get out of that. But off of what you're saying, it sounds like you saying that you good at avoiding conflict.
Not that, because I'm willing to put it this way, I'm willing to engage in conversation and conflict and disagreement and any of that. I'm willing to go back and forth. But when I feel like
there's no point of going
when
back
it's to
and
that
forth.
point, then I'm like, I'm not gonna give myself a headache. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, if it don't mess with the finances or the household or the kids, I'm finna let it go.
Well, yeah, it's no wrong answer. It sounds like, to me, it sounds like, because that's something that I'm the complete opposite, but that's as a tool somewhere that I can use that you possess on how you manage to not engage, even if you is right, you know. And there's a certain tool somewhere that you possess that I don't know if you know how to demonstrate or explain why you capable of doing that. But I just wanted to let you know, like, because you can look at it at different angles, you know, when a person,
Right.
you know, because when you're in a relationship, conflict gonna happen, you know, because sometimes there needs to be a common goal, a conversation, a direction, you know what I'm saying? And everybody need to get pulled back in the right direction, moving on the same accord. So in order to do that, sometimes we gonna stray and we gonna need to have difficult conversation, and that can be considered as conflict because my brain don't work the way this person brain do. So that alone is gonna be a conflict situation. Now, sometimes the issue that come front and center is that because our brain work differently, we trying to mainly explain what we trying to come across. You know, we're not trying to explain. Maybe we sometimes assume that they should understand what we're trying to bring across. And then when it's not being understood the way you understand it to be, that's another thing that causes a conflict.
How do you get to that point to walk away is just like what you just said. So I consider myself, when having a conversation, and when I feel like I'm strong or passionate about something, I feel like I'm a great illustrator. So, and when I say that, meaning like I can bring up, I'm trying to think of the word that they use, but basically I can come up with a scenario and relate it to, you know, the conversation that we have, and then say, you know, and then ask questions like basically leading up or whatever, and be like, okay, so you saw that, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so that's the same thing, you know, and then it's almost like, oh, okay, I get you. But if my partner still can't see the point that I'm trying to get across, that's the point where it's like, okay, well then there's no use to me getting, because all I'm gonna do is just frustrate myself, keep going, you know, back and forth. So to avoid me getting frustrated and mad, and you know, and then the conversation go totally left now, you know what I'm saying? Because then I get in my feelings, then I'm gonna just avoid it. So I'm just like, okay, you got it. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Check out. On that, what this make this I think a little different from when I asked Q. What role does self-reflection and personal growth play in your ability to tolerate aspects of your partner that may be difficult? So, what role does self-reflection and personal growth play in your ability to tolerate aspects of your partner that may be difficult?
I'm gonna say patience, mental endurance, and mental intelligence. So when you're
self-reflecting.
When you self-reflect, and the reason why I'm saying that, so when you self-reflecting, you gotta have first of all, you gotta have the endurance endurance and patience is pretty much the same thing. You gotta have that patience because this is your significant other, and you trying to get on the same page. So you gotta be willing to say, okay, this might take a while, whatever it is that y'all going through or talking about or whatever the case may be. That's one. The mental intelligence part to me comes in where you have to recognize like, hey, I can't just go off of my views. I have to sit in they seat and look behind their eyes. I might not agree with it, but you know what I'm saying, I need to have the maturity to be like, okay, I feel you. I feel where you coming from. And I feel like that's the mental intelligence to get there, that side of view. And you can still have your own opinion, still be like, okay, I see what you're saying. And I understand why you coming from, doing that or saying that or whatever, but I still feel this way or whatever. So
help you possess those skills, like doing your self-reflecting on yourself, what was revealed to you to be capable of standing in the fire, or you know what I'm saying, being considerate, being understanding of a dislike that your partner do, but you able to tolerate it. Like what skills, what helped you possess those type of skills?
Just being real with yourself. I mean, when you self-reflecting, you just got to be real with yourself. Sometimes people don't want to be honest with themselves and see, like,
that's a big task. How you do that?
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I hate to drop that's a difficult question. Like,
I put it
shit, how do you
know? But as far as admitting it is the hard part. You know yourself better than anybody. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes somebody could be saying something to you and you be like, no, you know what I'm saying? Because I know I do it. You know, we all do. You know what I'm saying? No. But then when it's over with, I know they was right. You know what I'm saying? I know this person was right. So that's where I'm talking about, like, far as the intelligence, like, you got to be real with yourself and be like, okay, yeah.
You agree, Q, Ahapo? Y'all agree that you think, because I have a difficult time understanding, like, do people
self-reflect truly? Right.
Really self-reflect?
Yeah, really know the truth. No. Like, no. Do they really know? Can you really be like, do people really be honest and believe they being honest with themselves? Do you think?
I think certain people do. I think majority don't, though. I think majority don't. Because if you really looked at it and said, you know what, it take a lot. It take a lot to really self-reflect and say, man, let me put that this person has been there for me. Let me take away that we got a house together. Let me take away that we done been through all this stuff together, and really self-reflect on myself and say, you know why, how can I deal with this stuff? Or why am I dealing with this stuff without all of that adding into it? And I don't think human-wise people can do that because it's hard to do. Even if it don't involve another person. Looking in the mirror and being happy at what you see is a hard thing to do. You know what I'm saying? It's a hard thing to do. Because what you're doing, like, you'll self-reflect, but you'll say, this is just who I am. That part of me is just who I am. You know what I'm saying? And that right there will make you deal with anything. It'll make you deal and put up with anything when it comes to another person. You know what I'm saying? You
cheat yourself.
Yeah, you're gonna cheat yourself because it's part of you that you feel like is the hardest part to change, or it's the hardest part of yourself to deal with. So really looking in the mirror, are you really can look in there and say, you know what, this is who I am. This is what I need to change about myself, or this is what I need to work on. It's hard to really self-reflect and say, I need to change this, or this is a bad trait of mine. This is like, you know what I'm saying? But that comes with you wanting to change. You know what I'm saying? It comes with you wanting to change. And like, it sometimes it take you 38 years, 39 years, 40 years before you get to that point where you really can look in the mirror and say, you know what, this right here ain't a good process for my future. This ain't gonna be, or you just gonna be stuck in there. You know what I'm saying? Or you just gonna be like, well, it's just who I am. It's just who I am, and me being a nice person and me just being a cool, like I'm a deal like
I'm laid back.
So you just let stuff happen. Like back. you and it's majority of people are gonna do that. That's why when the craziest stuff happen in relationships and people don't spaz out or they don't really handle it like they supposed to, it's because of that. It's because it's a part of them that's saying this don't really, it's not that big of a deal, or this, or I ain't gonna let that bother me. You know what I'm saying? And really deep down, you like if you really looked at yourself and said, damn, bro, 5 years ago I would have never dealt with this, or 5 years ago I would never put up with this. But it's like you tell yourself this is who you are. Like this is who I am now. Like, but you think you being real. You know what I'm saying? Like you think you really being real by doing it because your logic, which is most people's logic, is based off of their own thought up process in their head. It ain't really nothing real. It's just a logic in your head that you came up with, and logically you feel like this is a good way to think. This is a good way to be.
And you tell yourself over and over and over.
That's what it is. So self-reflecting is really hard to do. Like it's a hard, almost I ain't gonna say impossible, but it's really hard to really say, you know what, this fucked up. I'm fucked up.
Let me ask y'all
in this area of my life.
Let me ask y'all this.
Area of my life.
When does a time or a situation present itself for you to self-reflect?
I'm an answer, man. I self-reflect everything that I do.
Yeah.
I will repeat every conversation.
Okay.
I'll repeat. No, listen. I'm telling you. Cause this is what I do. I repeat every conversation. I repeat every thought. You know what I'm saying? And I try to figure out, was I wrong on the approach I took? Was I wrong on what I said? So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if everybody do it to the degree like I do it. I mean, I'm sure people do those things, but to the degree that I do it, it's a constant, like, say when I'm working, I go on autopilot and I go into that mode of correcting things of, oh, dang, I need to do this better. Oh, I approach this different. I was feeling myself on this. My ego get way too proud on this. I have to pull myself back. So it's an important thing to do that because you can, sometimes, especially if you're dealing with some things and what goes in your head, you feel like whatever that is true to a certain degree, get so caught up into it that it's so true into your head, you'll believe that everybody else is wrong. If you don't try to correct, saying damn, okay, this could be true, but what this person's saying is true also. I answer what you're saying. My individual time with myself and no one's not talking to me. I'm not talking to no one. Those are the times when I self-reflect on a individual, or however I could say it, level within myself. But there's other times that people present something to me that could force me to self-reflect also.
I was about to say every time I talk to
Look, that's what I was just about to say, T. So when you said that, when you think about self-reflecting, I was going to say I do the exact same thing, but I always see myself talking to one of y'all boys to validate whether what I was thinking was factual or not. And so when I try to give both sides exactly the way that person viewed the situation, and then so T or Q or Joe or James, one of y'all would be like, well, Joe, I think da 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 da, and then that's what the part where I have to be like, okay, I'm gonna have to eat it because they saying the same thing. Then you get what I'm saying? So it's almost as if like seeking validation. Some things you can self-reflect and be like, okay, yeah, that was wrong or flawed or whatever the case may be. But sometimes I ain't gonna cap. I be needing that extra like, yeah, Dirt, you was right, or yeah, Dirt, you was flawed, or yeah, you know what I'm saying? And so like talking to y'all boys, that's where I that's how I get it. And I try not to put myself in it so y'all won't give me a biased answer. Not saying that y'all wouldn't, but you get what I'm saying? Is so you would think freely without even trying to spare my feelings or anything. If that makes sense.
You gotta treat it like she a car, man. You can't if you have a problem with your car, right? You say, man, I got a belt that's loose. And you mad at the car because it ain't working right. So you wait a day or two, and then what happened? That belt break. It get worse. Now you got an even more problem. So not even saying it's the same as a person, but you think about it, like how I see it now, just in my experience, that shit, you saying it's little, but so are termites. You know what I'm saying? Like termites are little too.
Okay.
And over time, which is what? They eat away.
Okay, Q.
They eat away.
Okay.
Eat away, and now you got a bigger problem. Now you got a bigger problem to do. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like what we was talking about before. I don't know if it was me and T, but I was just saying like, you have to practice certain things. And that's one of them. Like if y'all both okay with arguing and not talking, ain't nothing ever gonna change. Y'all just gonna keep doing it. Y'all just gonna keep doing it, and then you're gonna say, well, I gotta wait till I cool down. All right, well, how about you practice not having a button? How about you practice not having a button get pushed? Or when she say something, you know how to hear it without it triggering you. You know what I'm saying? Or if it do trigger you, you know a way to express it to her without the normal way of doing it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not saying that I do that every single time. I'm just saying it's something that I try to practice when I have a disagreement, because you literally can it's literally like 10 minutes can go by and you could be like, yeah, I was a little much. You know what I'm saying? So why not just go in and say, baby, look, let's fix this now. Because if you practice doing that every time y'all have an argument or every time you have a disagreement, 10 minutes go by and now y'all can get on with the rest of y'all day. Because what I learned is if you got kids around, that energy transfers to them. Kids know mommy and daddy ain't talking right now. They know y'all in different rooms. You know what I'm saying? So you got to look at it more than just about you and her. You know what I'm saying? It's energies.
They see, hear,
feel everything, and it transfer to them. And then now you may feel like you and wifey cool, but then now 2 days later your kid throw a little tantrum. And you say, dang, when they start doing that? Where they get that from? And it's really that energy that you and mama get every time y'all get in an argument. Y'all go in separate rooms and you ain't talking to her and she ain't talking to you. And the kid realizes and notice it. They can't comprehend what it is. You know what I'm saying? So you look at it is like it could be termites. Like you saying it's a small thing, but like I said, so a termite. Termites small. It don't seem like a real problem until you know what I'm saying? So
you teaching them right then how to deal with conflict. Their conflict management skills is being taught right in front of them. We are kids' first teacher. You know what I'm saying?
You can't
too big and the kids run with the A. Let's switch it up. Let's
yeah, and they feel that.
But the key is though is that they also have to see that. They have to see you solve through a problem. No. I'm just saying, not directing it at you. I'm just saying, you know, as growing up as a child, you also need to see the adults solve a problem, work it out. You may need to see them go through a conflict and then ease through it. You know what I'm saying? Because then you can actually really see a correct way on how to deal with it instead of guessing like you will see everybody disappearing. So what that do, it's a hamster wheel, is when people get in a relationship, when they get in conflict, they avoid it. They going, I'm going to take a walk because they ain't see their parents do such and such. So when it come, they not going to try to resolve it. They going to avoid it and keep avoiding it.
I can honestly say, bro, I lived this for over 15 years, bro, and never really even realized what I was doing. Every time a girl or female like challenged me in some kind of way or made me feel some kind of way, bro, gone. I'm gone.
I
deal with it. I might deal with it when I want to. I might never deal with you. It might be the last conversation we have. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know how to come to, I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how to correctly
express yourself.
You know what I'm saying? But knowing that like this ain't normal. Like, you know what I'm saying? This ain't normal, bro. Like, you ain't supposed to be able to not talk to somebody.
We might need to put a.
What you say, T?
My bad. I was going to say we might need to put a little fire in front of in your little box, boy. You on fire tonight, boy. You been dropping some bombs tonight, man.
It come from bad experiences, bro. Like, I might not live 100% of everything.
You took your vitamins before you got on?
Blue pill, T.
But I just, man.
Blue pill today?
It's bad experience. It's situations, bro. Like, I should have handled a lot of situations better. I'm just not seeing it, though. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of situations that I should have handled right then instead of letting them shits keep happening and then wait 2 days, 3 days, and then talk about it. Because all that was doing was just building, making stuff build up.
Are you saying that for you to grow?
Yeah.
That.
Like, I'm saying that not just
that time.
I'm saying it's not just for me to grow, but just like the problem is still there. Like 2-3 days later, you still feel the same way. You still feel the same way. You just trying to be cordial. And you trying to move, and that shit feel weird. Like, it feel weird when you ain't talking. It feel weird when you ain't like, damn, you gonna walk by me with them shorts on. You know what I'm saying? Know you want to do something tonight, but you trying to hold your ground. And you know what I'm saying? Like, when really, actually, if it ain't that big of a deal, like you be saying, if it ain't that big of a deal, then let's handle it now. Then, like, look, all right, look, I'm not gonna yell at you. You ain't gotta yell at me. All I'm saying is blah 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 blah. And then when they talk, I gotta put that in my head and say, hey, let me hear what she's saying. And I don't have to agree, but let me just hear what she's saying. And then that way I can say, okay, baby, I understand that. Well, I was just saying this. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to come to an agreement. You don't have to understand my point, and I don't have to understand hers. I just have to hear it and listen to it and say, all right, baby, well, we can agree to disagree on this if it's something like that. But really, it's just an acceptance. It's an acceptance that I got an opinion, you got an opinion. It's not the same opinion about the situation. And we got to get to a point in this conversation where we accept that we think differently about this subject. And then let's go on with life. That's just what it is. Like, if you can't get to that acceptance part, if your whole thing is to prove a point, you're never going to change anything. Like, it's always going to happen. And when you arguing or you having a discussion about stuff, it's not always, I'm trying to persuade you that my point is right. Like, yeah, we both could be right. You know what I'm saying? But let's accept the fact that we both have an opinion. We both think we're right. And what are we going to do now? Are we going to keep trying to hold our ground, or are we going to get past it? Because if it ain't that big of a deal, then both of us bowing out and saying that I accept what you're saying, baby, and you accept what I'm saying, let's move on. You know what I'm saying?
What really be causing conflict to escalate to a bigger problem is that the tone. Sometimes the tone of things may switch, and whatever the problem or the issue was don't even really be the issue no more. Now we stuck on the tone.
Yeah. How you talking to me?
You know, how you talking.
Yeah.
And I learned, and I'm still learning as I'm growing, that when you hear a certain tone immediately, sometimes we're not looking at it as this person really emotional, they hurt, and they kind of screaming for help. They screaming for you to recognize them, you appreciate them, care for them, love them, acknowledge the worth of them. And we get so caught up to, we don't look at that part. I ain't gonna say we. I wasn't looking at it, that part. I look at it as, man, you trying me, man. Like, you can't whoop me.
Like a man.
Like, you chill out with the tone now. Like a man. Now it's like you switching to a different, like you a man or something. You know what I'm saying? And I had to catch myself with the growth and understand, like, man, T, this person is not saying it like they finna whoop you. They crying for help. Like, I want you to see me. I want you to understand where I'm coming from. I want you to, you get what I'm saying? If you change your perspective of feeling like you're attacked, because that's what happened when you get in those tone situations, you go to defending yourself because you're feeling like you're being attacked, or you feel as a man, you're feeling like your manhood is being disrespected. But, you know, the more I get secure with myself, I understand that don't have no type of means to my end of who I am as a man. You get what I'm saying? I put myself in a position to receive it and then bring the conversation back to where it need to be. Because if I get pulled into it,
right back,
it's blowing up.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. We, like with us, we do that shit all the time. You know, shit, that boy, that shit be feeling good to do it with y'all. Yeah. It be feeling good. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But well, for me, brotherhood. Yeah. So I just see it different.
It's different, you know, with us. I was gonna say real quick. It's different with us because when you have a dispute with a woman, it's like it feels like that the woman wants to talk to you like a man, but she wants you to react as if she's a woman, and she wants you to care as if she's like a child. You know what I'm saying? It's like she'll talk to you, and all you hearing is, like you say, T, the tone. But when you react in a certain way, they want you to talk to them like they're a woman. Like, but the exchange itself has already went bad now, because that's just part of knowing your partner. That's a part of really respecting your partner. Like, hey, I'm not going to talk to you like you're a child, and you're not going to talk to me like you're a man. You know what I'm saying? You could be mad at me. You can feel however you want to feel at me, but just keep it like, talk to me in that manner. Like you still respect me. You just disagree with me. But once you go to talking like, you ain't that, once that go, like you say, the tone go, the respect is out the door. Now I'm in defense mode. We ain't getting nowhere.
Fuck everything, yeah.
We ain't getting nowhere. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Hoppo, you got anything?
I'm good, B-Dog.
About 3 minutes.
Dirt dead.
Until next time, man. Until next time.
Let TS, and we'll see y'all, man. Salute.